Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another set of videos in which we continue to talk about Business Central and how we can perform different functions and how Business Central operates as an ERP system. So today's video is going to be quick and short. I just wanted to share one of the major updates that I felt was quite nice for time being, because this was a big gap and Microsoft has finally closed that gap, and it really helps with reporting. So if you have been playing around with the Business Central that is on a trial version, and you don't know how you can enable or disable an update that comes in through Microsoft, you simply go into feature management. You can have a look at all the updates that are either enabled or disabled in this case, or any of the updates that you may not have heard of from Microsoft directly, but they show up here. So if you don't have a batch running, you can always manually go into feature management and have a good look at it and see what features have been enabled for you to play around with. So the major update that I was referring to is related to dimensions. So if you don't know the usage of dimensions, feel free to go through one of my videos that I have extensively explained how and what are the use of dimensions and how they can help you with reporting from a client perspective. But one of the major updates that came through Microsoft is the usage of shortcut dimensions. So one of the biggest gaps with reporting was the limitation of using global dimensions, and we had only two global dimensions. So if you were to go into General Ledger setup, we see that there are two global dimensions and quite a few shortcut dimensions. So in our case, total of 8 dimensions, but six of which is 6 are the shortcut dimensions. The gap here was that the global dimension had to be very carefully selected by your client. In our case, for a lot of clients that I have worked with, they don't work with standard way of doing things. Every company is unique in the way they do things, but the global dimensions had to be very carefully selected. The reason being is because of the reports. You cannot use, or at least at one point, you couldn't use shortcut dimensions for your reporting. That's why only global dimensions were present, and you can only filter through entries related to global dimension, even though you would select shortcut dimensions, but you would have to use Jet reports and all sorts of different apps to find a workaround in order for you to do your analysis using these shortcut dimensions. So the update that came through from Microsoft recently is the actual usage of shortcut dimensions. So you can use shortcut dimensions in different reports, in different ledger entries. One of the easiest examples that I can think of using the shortcut dimension is in vendor ledger entries, for instance. So if you were to go into vendor ledger entries, just simply click on this filter button, and you filter, you go all the way bottom at the list, and you can see the shortcut dimension 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are available. At one point they weren't available, so you couldn't select these shortcut dimensions to filter for specific entries, for instance. So this actually expands to different reports that are available. So at one point you had to use analysis view or account schedule to actually build your reports from a user's perspective, but now you can use these shortcut dimensions in the built-in reports that are available for a user in Business Central. So with that, I want to make sure that I keep you updated on all the features that are coming through. There's a big pipeline for a lot of Microsoft products that are related to ERP, and I wanted to make sure that I share this information because it is a major step forward for Microsoft.